Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Crypto Decrypted. My name is Johnson, and I'm here to talk about a rollup that I just deployed on DevNet in under 2 minutes using this app called Conduit. Now, let's break that down one by one. What do I mean by a rollup? Well, every blockchain has this problem, a scalability trilemma. It has to pick any one of these sides, either decentralized and secure, secure and scalable, or decentralized and scalable. Now, Ethereum chose decentralized and secure, but it comes at the cost of sacrificing scalability. That's where rollups come in. Rollups are blockchains which sit on top of Ethereum, inherent Ethereum security, but allows Ethereum to scale. But before we get into that, here's this visualization of how it looks like. But before Rollups came about, when Ethereum started as a project in 2014, there was another project that came about, Cosmos. Cosmos took a different design philosophy. Cosmos didn't want just like one chain with all the security, but instead what they wanted is many chains, like many application-based chains, with each having their own set of security, their own validators. And what you have as a result is capital that is fragmented across all of these chains. However, as you can see, there are many of these Cosmos chains because Cosmos's design philosophy had three key things. One is a consensus mechanism, but the one I want to talk about is a Cosmos software development kit that allowed people to just spin up these Cosmos chains, but also these Cosmos chains could interact with each other thanks to inter-blockchain communication protocol, a trust minimized data transport layer for communicating between chains. And so you have it in Cosmos. But Ethereum still became more successful than Cosmos simply because there are about 18.1 million ETH staked. And at current market prices, that is about $1,790. When you multiply both of them, you get a total value of ETH staked at about $32 billion. And to compromise the security of the chain, you need to control about 2/3 of that stake. That would mean about $21.6 billion. This comes to say that the security provided by the Ethereum blockchain is unparalleled, and it remains the most decentralized and the most secure blockchain out there, which is why a lot of rollups are built on top of Ethereum to help it scale, and they have been doing just that. Looking over the past 7 days, these rollups have scaled Ethereum by a factor of 3.66, and this has been trending upwards since about 2021. And very recently, you have projects like Optimism, like Arbitrum, coming out with really interesting upgrades, one of which I'll be talking into more details today. But before that, I'd like to point out that deploying a rollup in Ethereum, it comes with own benefits and challenges. Now, if you're deploying a siloed rollup, one just from scratch, you get benefits of securing access to about $400 billion in assets. What this means is that if you look at the Ethereum chain, the value of all the ETH would be about $218 billion. But then if you look at all the ERC20 tokens, these smart contract tokens, such as USD Tether, USD Coin, all the stable coins, Lido, Polygon, Binance, and including NFTs, such as Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, all of these totally amount to $410 billion. You get access to all of these assets while being secured by all the staked ETH. There are these other benefits such as making computation cheap, controlled user experience, and experimenting with different virtual machines. But what I wanted to point out with that, when you deploy a siloed rollup, you have a lot of infrastructure overhead. Every rollup has its own bridge, smart contract suite, sequences, executors, security councils, RPC node providers, and different approaches on how to decentralize each component of the tech stack. Enter Optimism. Now, Optimism recently open sourced its Bedrock code base. What it is that when we look at the design principles, it focuses on modularity, code reusability, and Ethereum equivalence. What this means essentially is that Bedrock gives you like straight out of the box architecture to set up your own rollup, similar to something that the Cosmos software development kit provided in the Cosmos ecosystem. But at the same time, let's say you're deploying an optimistic rollup right now, you could very easily convert it to a ZK rollup later on, because all that requires is switching that one module, a fraud-proof module, to a validity-proof module. And all of this is thanks to the code reusability design principle that the Bedrock embodies. And this goes towards the end goal of building an Optimism superchain. Now, even though superchain sounds singular, it encompasses it's basically a network of layer 2 chains known as the OP chains, which share security from layer 1, communication layer, and an open source technology stack. These chains are standardized and intended to be used as interchangeable resources. And it enables developers to build applications which target the superchain as a whole and abstract away the underlying chains the apps are running on. This is great stuff. This right here, what it says is that you're going to have many chains. Projects can build their own app chains, but because they share the same set of architecture, the same set of modules, developers can come and they can build their own set of modules, which can be used by all these chains. It's kind of like having different kind of Android phones, but then you have like apps that are compatible with all these different kind of hardware phones. Each phone serves different purposes, but you could all share apps, right? So that's pretty much similar here. And here, if you just look at all these OP chains and the Optimism bridge, it kind of looks like how you would have a Cosmos ecosystem, right? Like you could have all of these to be different OP chains. The only additional and perhaps the most important advantage that OP Stack has is the security. All of these chains inherit the security of the Ethereum base layer, which is currently $32.4 billion of ETH that's securing that base layer. In fact, this is the most sustainable path, and that is why Coinbase launched a new layer 2 blockchain called Base that's built on the OP stack, because they believe in that vision. They believe that a lot more layer 2 chains are going to come around. They're going to build on OP stack simply because it's easier to do so and inherit all of Ethereum security. This base build on base chain will commit a portion of transaction fee revenue back to the Optimism Collective. This furthers the collective's vision for a sustainable future where impact is equal to profit. Basically, the portion of these transaction fees will help build OP Stack achieve its vision of being a superchain. And this is very likely to happen because Coinbase has lots and lots of users. And if they're able to onboard these users onto the OP Stack, basically their base chain, that would be a huge plus to the whole ecosystem. And when we look at the developers. Coinbase's team is currently a core development team, apart from the Optimism team working on the OP stack. But also, there's that they do. Coinbase also joins Optimism as core contributors to the most overpowered public good in the game. But also, they did collaborate with a growing community of builders, and as per the announcement on March 30th, they have about 18K developers building about 55K smart contracts. And if they're building this on Base, it can very well be deployed on any other OP stack chain, which is why that is amazing. They've even put out a request for builders, providing ideas of what can be built. And one particular thing that caught my eye here was an on-chain limit order book exchange, where they say, we're curious to see how builders approach designing these different types of decentralized limit order book exchanges on or around Base. And builders can use open source tooling like OPStack to build layer 3s that give them even more speed and control, potentially enabling even deeper liquidity still accessible through layer 2. So breaking this down, Coinbase is not just asking builders to build applications on their Base chain, but they're also asking them, hey, why don't you build OPStack chains as a whole that can access liquidity from our Base chain? So the design space here is quite broad, and developers have all kinds of, have like a huge area to play with. Enter Conduit. Now, I am a pretty amateur developer. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but looking at Conduit, I decided to give it a shot. Conduit is a crypto-native infrastructure platform, but basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to deploy an OP-stack rollup in a few clicks. And this is a demo video which is similar to what I showed in the beginning. But here's what they make really, really easy. If you remember all the issues with a rollup deployments, that basically all that infrastructure overhead, Conduit takes away a lot of them. It provides you scalable RPCs, DDoS protection, high availability, zero operations, transaction traces, block explorers, faucets, yada, 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 and this. It's so good that you could have a business model right out of the box. Here you go. Teams that launch rollups with Conduit will be eligible to earn a share of the sequencer fees and MEV from their rollup, providing an instant path to monetization that is incentive aligned with their users. A portion of fee revenue will also be committed to the Optimism Collective, ensuring the sustainability of the OP stack and the other public goods, which will power the Superchain. This is great stuff here. This is similar, very, very similar to what Coinbase's Base is doing, which is that they would earn, Coinbase would earn a share of all the sequence of fees, MEV from their rollup, but also is providing a portion of the fee revenue back to the Optimism Collective to build the OP stack. That's what even we would do with if you built a Conduit chain. Sorry, deployed a Conduit chain. And it's really simple. Like this is the Conduit interface. You just provide a name, select OP stack, hit deploy. Within 2 minutes, you get like a running chain where you get all the information. You can trace transactions. This is how a transaction tracer would look like. You have faucets, which basically drips ETH to your address so that you can use that ETH to interact with this chain. Then you can look at all the metrics and stuff of how your chain has been performing over time, and all that great stuff. Once you're ready, you can like hit publish, and your chain would be public. Anybody can access it. And this is something that I really like. The block explorers, like look at that. You can see your layer 1 block explorer here, and here's your layer 2 block explorer. And this is great stuff. Right out of the box, the billing looks pretty. The pricing plans look pretty affordable, but it's free to start using for up to 5 members. But if you have more than that, then it goes up to $20 per user per month. Then it goes up to enterprise. There's extra features, all worth looking into. And there's even a technical explainer by Paradigm on how the Optimism rollup really works. And I would put this link in the description for you to check out. But there's one thing that I wanted to point out here: account abstraction. The Optimism virtual machine implements a basic form of account abstraction. In effect, this means that the only type of account is a smart contract, no externally owned accounts, and all user wallets are in fact smart contract wallets. Now, what this means essentially is that you can have wallets on your OP-Stack chains that are extremely, extremely, extremely user-friendly, and or at least has a scope of being extremely user-friendly, because account abstraction allows you to do that. It allows to pay for gas. You could have you pay. There are these entities called paymasters that pay for gas. So projects could essentially pay gas for their users. So from the user's perspective, they can just use it like without putting any money in. And this is great stuff. Like that's just one of the use cases. Like there are other use cases like two-factor authentication, easier social recovery, email ID passwords. It makes the user experience so much better. And the OP stack comes right out of the box with all of that. And this is what I really love about, this is why I deployed a Conduit rollup. Now developing that rollup, making production ready, you would definitely need to have a stronger business case for it. You would definitely need, but technology is not the obstacle here. That's what I want to point out. It is super easy today to build like a Cosmos-like network, deploy many of these chains. These projects could very easily deploy OpenStack chains and inherit all the security, all the billions of dollars of security that Ethereum has to offer. And that's where I think the future is going to go to. And that's it. That's why deploying an OP-Stack rollup with Conduit is worth exploring. It's absolutely fascinating, guys. And that's the end of this first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like more content like this, let me know. I will provide my contact details in the description, or you could find it on my profile. Let's stay connected, and I'll see you later.